It's Theme Park Thursday Live with Dillos Diz. Featuring Frank. And Jen.
This is Theme Park Thursday Live here on the Dillos Diz YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us on a Thursday evening. She is Jen.
Hello.
And I am Frank, and for the next 30 minutes, more or less or so, the two of us are going to present 3 topics or subjects that we did not discuss on our Theme Park Thursday podcast this week, which is shocking because there were so many tangents on the Theme Park Thursday podcast, like we do.
It's amazing that we have anything to talk about left, but I think it was all about the tangents on today's episode. So now we get into like the Disney news stuff.
Yeah, and because it is Theme Park Thursday, there was like a big news story today that's not Disney related, but I thought we should discuss. So there's already pivoting going on. Pivot. But we did discuss on the Theme Park Thursday podcast the holiday offerings coming to Walt Disney World. We kind of ran down the list. Jen was annoyed because it was November 2nd, technically today, which is technically her nightmare before Christmas period. That's anything Christmas related prior to Thanksgiving, including this little ditty. Kicking it back to December. I was looking at the video. I thought it connected to the holiday on the podcast today. So
Is this our first Vlogmas? Is this it? We might as well start now because we struggle sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll if Vlogmas is in our future this year.
Maybe one Vlogmas vlog. Maybe we could put together one.
I've been thinking about a variation on the vlog. Like, I don't want to lose the Vlogmas intro. That's really where I am with do we or do we not do Vlogmas, is because Mr. Snidillo has a snazzy intro there.
Yeah.
So I don't want to lose it.
Yes. I think that's what kept us last year, where we were like, I don't know. And you're like, but the intro. And I'm like, all right, let's do it.
The intro. So anyway, here we are for 30 minutes, 3 topics or subjects. Hello, good evening to everyone in the chat joining along here. Look at this. Even Pixie Dust PhD here in the chat this evening.
We have 2 doctors among us.
That's true. I mean, we're very fancy here on Theme Park Thursday Live on the YouTube channel. Yes. Of course, our post show will be over at DillosDizResort.com. That's our Patreon with memberships beginning as low as $1 per month. DillosDizResort.com. Jen loves when I do the promotions. She's so good at promoting herself that here we are, DillosDizResort.com for the post show.
It's bad when I feel guilty when I promote. Like, gotta get better at it. And with my BFA in public relations, you'd think I would be better at it. I'm not.
I don't even have a BFA. I have an MFA, however.
Why do I have a BFA? It doesn't make any sense. I shouldn't have a BFA in public dance, art, public relations. What? Okay. Fine art?
It's a fine art, that public relations.
It sure is.
I also hope everyone is enjoying my allergies this evening. Yeah. I think they kind of kicked in halfway through our recording for this for the podcast last night, and they've been keeping up ever since. Yeah. So here we go. 3 topics, 3 subjects, 30 minutes. No, we have 25 minutes left. Topic number 1, Stream Park Thursday. See what I did there with the
Oh,
theme
fancy.
park Thursday, but it's Stream Park Thursday. Yesterday, November 1st, Disney Plus released 6 new episodes, season 2, as it were, of Behind the Attraction. So I thought we'd focus on that for a little bit. They also announced yesterday that, I think it was yesterday, that Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny will be dropping on the Disney Plus on December 1st. So some streaming news to discuss. And the other 2 stories, Jen has no idea what I'm doing here, but here we go. Topic number 2, Merge Park Thursday. Just making things up now. Six Flags merged today with I just blanked on the Cedar Fair, right? So Cedar Fair and Six Flags, they merged. And of course, I read many articles on this today, but I'm going to use the Hollywood Reporter article because they said they were creating an $8 billion theme park giant. We'll discuss if that's really the case here with topic number 2. And topic number 3, place your bets. That's usually what we say after the 3 topics. We ask people in the chat to place their bets for which of these 3 news stories they want to hear first. But this is actually related to betting, as ESPN Bet will debut with a planned launch on November 14th. This may excite the 9-year-old who has been enjoying the football lately. I don't know. But there's a little social media thing I want to discuss that I saw today when it came to this news announcement. So we'll discuss those 3 things. It's place your bets with the ESPN Bet. Topic number 2, Merge Park Thursday with the Cedar Fair Six Flags merger. And topic number 1, Stream Park Thursday, little Behind the Attraction on the Disney Plus. Place your bets. Place your bets.
Let's see, we
Your
got
order.
132 is currently in the lead with 2 votes. A 312, a 213, a 123. Feel like Monica.
Yeah.
Very low.
I don't know. I feel like 132.
132 is the winner with 2 votes.
The merger is number 2. All right. Okay. Fine.
3. That's the last one. It's the last topic.
Is 2 is the last topic? They know that we always have like 3 minutes left. Is that why? Because they're like, we only want to hear about that for 3 minutes.
Yeah,
so
probably.
That's pretty much what happens
That's
there.
on the 30-minute mark.
So topic, what number are we doing?
A 1.
1. A 1. A 1. A 1, 2. A 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Stream Park Thursday yesterday on November 1st. Behind the Attraction season number 2 dropped over on the fancy Disney Plus. I watched most of 1 episode so far, but let's if you don't know what Behind the Attraction is, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a docuseries, goes a little behind the scenes of some of your favorite Disney attractions. Let's just say the reviews are split depending on who you talk to out there in the world about the approach to the show. I don't think it takes itself too seriously. It tries to move along at a very quick pace. But I'll mention something else about this in a moment. But Behind the Attraction season 2 includes Pirates of the Caribbean. But that's not number 1 here. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. That's the one I did watch. Indiana Jones Adventure. Spoiler alert. It's also coming to the Animal Kingdom. Epcot, which is a very broad topic. Just Epcot.
all of Epcot.
Let's not focus on anything specifically in Epcot. Let's just do all of Epcot in 1 episode. We don't want to do that many seasons of Behind the Attraction. Let's just do a whole park for Behind the Attraction.
I'm not happy about that.
The food. Let's not just do Dole Whip. No. Let's not do churros or turkey legs. That's gonna be an. I can't wait to watch.
We can never do turkey legs.
And nighttime spectaculars again, kind of missing the point of the name of the show. What? And there we are. So, Jen, have you watched any of these shows previously? And everyone in the chat, have you watched any of these shows previously? Any of the episodes?
So I watched the first season.
Hmm.
I have not seen this lineup even yet, and I'm a little annoyed by it because I do like this show, and I think with the first season, I may have, and now I'm not remembering, but I feel like I did this, that I made the connection between the vibe of it felt similar to the movies that made us on
Uh-huh.
Netflix.
Oh,
Like that, it
yeah.
was quick moving and kind of found all the little funny things and whatever. Um, but I appreciate the behind the attraction. One thing I want to know all the ins and outs about it. It felt to me almost like the I almost said the Great Movie Ride, R.I.P. Um, but no, what do I want to say? The backstage studio tour. Like
Right.
it's cool to like see all the behind the scenes stuff and focus on one thing. I
Right.
love Epcot. I wouldn't even mind like a whole behind the scenes on Epcot,
Hmm.
but for this, I wanted to pick Spaceship Earth. Tell me only about Spaceship Earth. And like,
Hmm.
but yeah, to your point, maybe they don't want to do more. Why? We do people don't like it. You said it was split. Who doesn't like?
Well,
Do
I'm
people in
saying
the chat not like?
I think the fun vibe, as it were,
Yeah.
is you know, and you mentioned the movies that made us. I also think it has kind of that the best week ever.
Uh-huh.
And I love the 80s. I heart
Yeah.
the 90s, whatever those were called on VH. We reference VH1 an awful lot on this sometimes.
We
Um,
miss it.
this says a lot about us. And we watched that pretty religiously, the best week ever,
Uh-huh.
and those like series on the 80s and the 90s and the 70s or however it started. So I feel like that's what they're going for sometimes, and it's fine. You know what's really funny is when I was watching the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad yesterday, I forgot that I'm gonna say her name wrong, Paget Brewster,
Oh, yes. Mhm.
who is Kathy on Friends,
Mhm. More
Chandler
Friends
and
references.
Joey's ex. Yeah, exactly. A girlfriend. And what I forgot was that, well, I had forgot that it was her. But as I'm listening, I'm like, whose voice is that? And I'm like, is it that comedian on TikTok that keeps showing up in my algorithm? What's her name? Her name is Taylor Tomlinson. She's always in my algorithm. And then, oh, lo and behold, she gets her own late night show last night. It was a
What?
very bizarre, like,
What?
sequence of events. Yeah, she's gonna be on After Colbert, doing
Oh.
After Midnight.
Hmm.
Have you seen some of her stuff? She's pretty funny.
I feel like the name sounds familiar, so probably I
Amazing.
just can't like
Yeah.
but it'll probably TikTok is listening, so it'll show up after
Yeah,
this.
now now
Yeah.
it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's the other thing for people. Compared to Imagineering Story,
Yeah.
which is being referenced here in the chat, behind the attraction, it's kind of a step below.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
and 100%. Yeah, I just and probably the timing of it too, which Dr. Jacqueline mentioned that, you they did them both kind of together or close to enough to each other that first round of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, then people are going to start comparing back and forth where maybe if you had spaced this out a little more and made it like a totally different, oh, that came out 6 months later, you have behind the attraction and whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe people would have gravitated a little bit more to it, but when it's the Imagineering Story was so fresh for everyone, you're not
Yeah.
gonna yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
agree.
compelling comparison.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, I have a little bit of an issue with the broad topics like Epcot. I like, especially that the announcement just kind of came that it would dig into these roots a little bit, but you could do a test track episode with World of Motion roots.
right.
Like, give me the backstory of World of Motion, how it evolved into test track,
Yeah,
and then how it went back to like, why? Why do
yeah. Do you think I'm gonna be in it in the Epcot episode
I
when
don't
they
think?
mention
Yeah, you think
interventions?
you zoom over the water.
You zoom over the water and collect. You fly through the air and zoom through the water.
Zoom through
Um,
the water.
doing some via voice. I went on tangent. We haven't had a tangent yet.
Hmm.
That I went through again some YouTubing and some TikToking to be like, who has the old interventions footage? I know y'all had cameras. I want to see it. I want to
Yeah.
see it pop up. And I do feel like there is more popping up from
Hmm.
the early 2000s now. So I gotta probably just wait it out. But maybe it would be nice if I was mentioned in the Epcot story.
I
I'm
mean,
part of the story for goodness sake.
yeah, they got to have the operating participants mentioned at some point.
I mean, if anything should be mentioned in the entire Epcot episode, it's the operating participants and innovations.
Number 3 here. Oh, we got 15 minutes in.
We
We're
got
doing
so much
fine.
time.
Place your bets. ESPN Bet is coming, everyone, on November 14th. At least that's what they're telling us. Do I know how to share the screen? Do I know how to do that?
You just did it.
Man, I
What do
just
you
did it,
mean?
but then
You're
I
like a
can't do
pro.
it twice in a row.
Oh, yeah.
ESPN Bet to debut with a planned launch on November the 14th. We're going to go through here. ESPN Bet, a newly branded online sports book for fans in the U.S., is set to debut with a planned launch on the 14th, subject to final approvals. 17 states, our state not included: Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia. No Florida, no California as well. So here's the thing. A lot of the social media that I was, doom scrolling through today says Disney will launch ESPN Bet, and then you get the angry Disney replies
Of
all
course.
underneath. How, for whatever of the many reasons you're angry at Disney, let us add this. And we're not here to not say, well, Disney owns ESPN. We know this. But notice this lovely ESPN headline crafted by Disney. Don't mention us. Don't mention. But there's other articles out there that that bury the Disney name in the article. So I love this kind of thing because they know that people are going to attack Disney. So there's many articles out there that bury Disney in it. And I just love sifting through people's reactions for things like that, just to see what will trigger, what will people grab onto.
Yeah. And this kind of goes with a discussion we had a while back as well, when we were talking about the ESPN area in Walt Disney World and what do you turn that into? And of course, there's laws and rules and whatever if you were actually opening like a casino or something. But like,
Right.
it's like, is that the direction this goes in over there? Is a little, OTB over there, and it becomes Disney. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this because I feel like, ESPN, how are they, as ESPN strictly, how are they not going to jump in on the betting that everyone else is doing, or these new companies have sprout up doing?
Right,
I
with
can't
the
speak tonight.
with the DraftKings and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
all that.
So, like,
Like
how
it's
are they not gonna try to get a piece of that? Also, Disney's like, "Oh, yeah, we can get a piece of that, and that
yeah.
means more money for us as well." So that's also a benefit, but I feel like how are they not gonna do that? But yeah, it is funny how, like, who's mentioning Disney and who's not.
Yeah, the idea that Disney can't participate in the business of doing business
Yeah.
because like, oh, they shouldn't be like gambling is such a funny thing to me. I just think because of what history has been like, right? You think about Vegas, and then there was like kind of a cycle, and then Atlantic City in the 80s, and certain casino moguls, were very popular in the 80s, and
Yeah.
especially like, and they used to talk, oh, you'll never see a casino near New York City, you'll never get nearby, meanwhile we got like Belmont Racetrack, like, across the street over here.
Yeah.
And so like the idea of gambling is like it's everywhere, like what you can't escape it. And then I felt like maybe it just went to more traditional, I don't know, online betting in the early 2000s. And now we're here again where we're just promoting it with just as many. Now I'm plugged in, not like the rest of the world, but I'm plugged in. And these commercials are everywhere.
Yeah.
The DraftKings, everything, all these sports betting sites, everything is, it's equivalent to Ameritrade and E-Trade in the early 2000s. Like that's how much you're seeing these commercials. And the idea that Disney, who owns us, ESPN, isn't going to like think they have a connection to make some money, I think is a little. I mean, I get it in terms of the brand, but business is business at this point in these post 2020 era that we live in.
Yeah, for sure. Lexi is saying, "Oh my god, that's what they're turning the Star Cruiser into, now presenting the Star
Oh,
Wars casino."
oh, oh, that would be
Mhm.
interesting. Uh,
Yeah.
Last week on Theme Park Thursday, the podcast, the 9-year-old kicked the episode off
Uh-huh.
with some NFL breakdown.
Yeah.
And I mean, at this point, how was it 11 by the time he starts placing bets on a sports app? What
Oh
do you
my
think?
god. Oh my god. I mean, he has, what did we put on his iPad? Scores app just so that he can just when he's, "Who won this game? Who won this game when I was sleeping? Who won the" so this way he can just look and see who won what games, and now he
Uh,
knows the standings for everybody, so I mean, it's a slippery slope.
yeah,
Slippery
just
slope.
what as soon as the fantasy sports starts, then it's yeah.
Yeah, and I said that, I was like, "Oh, how did we start a little earlier? We probably could have done some sort of free fantasy football." Like, I did that one year a long time ago that I did a free fantasy football league that I was like, "Oh, we could probably do that," but again, slippery slope. Um, Jeffers is saying 95% of commercials during NHL games are some sort of betting,
Mhm.
and that's I think in Canada, I feel like it's even more open because I feel like, you could or some people did at one point, like, live in the US, but or maybe they moved to Canada to work for, like, online betting sites and all of that, and were able to get I don't know, there was, like, a whole thing
Yeah.
going on at one point. Um, Another tangent, I feel like each
Mhm.
topic deserves a tangent.
Mhm.
What how many casinos have you been to Atlantic City?
Uh, I I've only been to Atlantic City because I did a show there. I did a dinner show there.
Alright, but you
For
didn't, like, hang out
I
real
mean,
well, kind
I
maybe?
walked through, it was
Uh,
like that episode of Friends in Vegas where you just they're breezing through all the time. They're not staying still. So,
right.
yeah,
Vegas, no.
never. No.
Foxwoods,
No.
Mohegan Sun,
No. Turning Stone, I did a show up
mhm,
there in New York.
right.
Cruise ships.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. But no.
Alright.
For
Interesting.
for for having parents that were in Atlantic City frequently and on the cruise
Frequently.
ships, they love it. And we may or may not have had a Joker poker machine in our basement at one time.
Facts.
Am I allowed to say that? I don't
Sure.
know.
It didn't really work. It's
No,
not like
right,
oh, it's not
yeah.
like we were inviting people over making money off of it. It just was in our basement. I think if we had a secret business going on, then maybe we can't say that out loud, but it was
Right,
just sort
but
of
no.
in our basement.
So yeah, the fact that I don't like betting really is I don't like the idea
Yeah,
of losing money. I don't find myself to be a cheap person, but I don't
right.
like just putting my money out there.
Being set up for failure? Why? That's not fun for you?
Ah.
Like, I mean, how often are people? I mean, I know that if you are serious about it and you can make a whole career out of it, and that's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have frequented them more than you, and I have been to Vegas once, I've been to
Mm.
Atlantic City once, and then, cruise ships and stuff. Now, I have on one cruise I did, I won, like, over $300 on, like, a
Whoa.
little slot machine, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What? I'm leaving now. I'm done. I will never play again because this will never happen again."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's funny. We should deep dive on being set up for failure sometime. So what's my
I mean, I just meant going to a casino. Usually
yeah,
sets you
sure.
up for failure.
Sure, it's not deeper than that. That's fine. Well, we have what 6 minutes left, so we're
No,
doing pretty
plenty of
good here.
time.
Plenty of time to talk about Merge Park Thursday because sometimes Disney will drop some news on Theme Park Thursday, and sometimes Universal will drop some news on the Theme Park Thursday. And it seemed pretty quiet when we were recording the podcast this week, but then boom, Six Flags and Cedar Fair strike a merger deal, creating $8 billion theme park giant. Which, of course, Pastor John was in the chat and mentioned that things are pending here.
Mhm.
The two companies tout their combined IP deals, including for DC Comics and the Peanuts characters, as core to the merger. I feel like there was one other IP I saw referenced in another article.
Mhm.
So there, 27 theme parks, 15 water parks, 9 hotels and resorts, as well as safaris, marinas, and other properties across US, Canada, and Mexico. Um, they hope the licensed IP portfolio will help them develop engaging new attractions. So Six Flags has a deal with Warner Brothers Discovery for rights to characters from DC and Looney Tunes. That was the other one I was thinking of. While Cedar Fair holds the rights to the Peanuts comic universe. I didn't realize Peanuts had a whole universe. They apparently they got a universe in their small little
Who knew?
town where adults can't talk. So, Jen,
hmm
what say you about this merger and what does it do for the scope of theme parks across North America?
So first, if I can just respond to Lewis's comment in the chat, Disney needs to buy Peanuts. I love Peanuts and I love Disney, and I disagree. I don't want to see Peanut characters in Disney. Absolutely not. No, they're
Love
separate.
Peanuts. I love Disney.
Put them together. No, we don't put them together. They stay separate. Okay. Cedar Fair. Where are the Cedar Fairs?
Well, Ohio, I think, is the base. So you got
Uh-huh.
like Kings Island. And
Okay.
I think Cedar Fair owns Knott's Berry Farm. Am I correct in
okay.
that? I'm sure Pastor
Uh-huh.
John knows the answer to that as
Right.
well as others. So those are the two that jump out at me right off the top of my head.
Okay.
So
fair
it's
enough.
more like it's like another Six Flags. People are just got insulted by me saying that. I'm sorry, but it's I would put them
Right.
equal.
Yeah. And I mean, I would like to see this merger like build up these type of theme parks, because I would like to be visiting more theme parks and other theme parks. And unfortunately, no hate, Six Flags. Six Flags doesn't have the best reputation. Ergo, why you just made that comment that was like, oh, I'm not trying to insult anyone. Like, it doesn't have a great reputation. And at one point, I feel like back when we were kids, it was like, ooh, Great Adventure. We have to go there at some point.
Mhm.
And now people are like, oh, you're going to Great Adventure. I do hear the safari is very cool. And all these things. So it would be nice to see this merger build up all of these theme parks to try to get more people in them, to increase their safety.
Yeah.
They're keeping track of safety protocols, and just be just expanding the theme park world.
Yeah, and I mean, Pastor John's talking about this could be huge and I don't disagree. To me, we're just saying inappropriate things. I feel like by what I'm about to say, I think roller coasters and thrill attractions have been better for the DC universe and those superheroes than the recent movies in the DC universe. Like those roller coasters for a long time now have been good, whether it's the variations of Batman or Superman or whatever your favorite Six Flags DC roller coaster is.
Yeah.
I feel like have really suited the IP and justified. What I can't say, and Peanuts, we've been to Sesame Place. They do a nice job with the holidays and things like that. Like if you're gonna give me like good Peanuts Christmas stuff in amusement parks, I'm here for it.
Yes.
Looney Tunes, I think. Much like I'm trying to think of something else that much like the Muppets, where I feel like they try to come back and then it doesn't happen, and then they try to come back again and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And however you think about Looney Tunes and the level of appropriateness back in the day, the cartoons are brilliant. Chuck Jones, the whole thing. Is it from a period of time? Yes, but they haven't figured out how to adapt into a modern era that can play out and give people a reason to go to these amusement parks in a way that's applicable like it is in Disney or Universal.
Right. And applicable like this Theme Park Thursday Live here.
That's right.
Lexi saying you're interested in the Six Flags Safari, but not Animal Kingdom. First of all, these are two incorrect things. Well, I guess I am. I'm interested in it that in terms of that I've heard the Six Flags Safari is cool, and that's cool having it so close. I've never been. I haven't done that. I have been to Animal Kingdom countless times. So many times for a half day, and it is a fantastic theme park and I love it. if I'm only in Disney for 36 hours, I'm probably not going. You know the rules, Lexi. Do you big on our rules? So, would I pick Six Flags Safari over Animal Kingdom given choices? Absolutely not. No.
No, I think we might have to if we're at Mama and Papa Dillo's this weekend.
Mhm.
I think there's pictures of the Six Flags Safari from 1978 or 79 that was traumatizing enough to never do it again.
Wow, I didn't know it went back that far.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I don't know if I don't know if it was a well-managed safari back then, but
Animals just roaming and coming across the cars, no one watching. Yeah.
so again, I'm curious, but I think I'm more like, to me, DC is still a struggling property in some ways, broadly. Like
Mhm,
they do one good thing, they take one step forward, they take one step back. They have one good movie, and then but they got different versions of Batman. Like the Robert Pattinson Batman is not the Ben Affleck Batman, it's not the Michael Keaton Batman. Why I can't accept that, but I can accept that there's 3 Spider-Mans in a movie. I don't know what's the
mhm.
difference.
Right.
But it's having the creative team that can take the steps and have a
Mhm,
roadmap that will then go, we're going to set the foundation. We're going to get people excited for these IPs again broadly. And then we're going to be able to translate that into an experience in amusement / theme parks. I'm thinking they don't want to spend that much time
mhm.
getting that up and ready.
Right.
So, does anyone do superhero themed stuff? Well, Lewis, I just said some of the Six Flags roller coasters that have been themed for superheroes have
Mhm,
been fine.
mhm.
I've been on 2 different Superman roller coasters that I really enjoyed. Does it still feel like a Six Flags at the end of the day? Yes. Do I want to see like a fully fledged immersive Metropolis or Gotham City? Of course. But maybe we get something like that down the line.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where it starts. Just build the areas first.
Mhm.
Just build the environments.
If
Sometimes you
you
just need
build
the
it,
environments.
they will come.
It's true. Well, that's going to wrap it up here at the 32-minute mark. We're going to
Oh,
take this over to DillosDizResort.com for a little post show. I think Lexi bowed out. I saw on
yeah.
the way here.
No pun
So,
intended since she's teaching a class.
see that?
Before everyone goes, don't forget
Yeah.
to hit the like and subscribe
Oh, yeah,
if you
please
haven't
do.
already.
I
It's a
don't
good
know. I
idea
got to
there.
put an
Everyone
end
would.
date on those Peloton rides, I think.
Oh.
Live streaming Peloton rides, because it's a slow climb here as we try
Mhm.
to build back up our YouTube channel.
Yes.
But 3 levels: value, moderate. What's the second one? I don't know. And deluxe.
What? Yeah, you had them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm really selling the Patreon again, everyone.
You're really doing
DillosDizResort.com.
it. Yeah.
That's where we're headed now. The link is over in our one channel Discord or on our Patreon page at DillosDizResort.com. We'll see you there. Until next time, she's Jen and I'm Frank. She's Jen. I'm Frank. Bye bye.
Deuces.